Kingdom Hearts is the Frankenstein of video games in the best way possible. And if you're thinking,
Don't you mean the Frankenstein's monster of video games?
I actually don't. If you played Kingdom Hearts, and you most likely did if you're watching this video, you are the monster it created. You're the kind of person that loves the simplicity and joy of Disney, but also the convoluted melodrama of burning down a childhood home. With Kingdom Hearts coming to Steam, I've been thinking about it a lot recently, and I've been asking myself the same question that I ask myself every couple of years. Am I really gonna buy these games on a new platform for the 7th time? But I also want to talk about Kingdom Hearts being the pinnacle of what I consider to be a great crossover, how that was accomplished, and I also want to come up with 3 ideas of different crossovers that I would play today. But first I gotta take you through the thought process that I had when coming up with what makes a crossover amazing. We can explore this idea by thinking about one of the most legendary crossovers in history. And we all know the story. It was 2 boys, both eating their favorite snacks until they ran into each other, and then, you got chocolate in my peanut butter, you got peanut butter in my chocolate. The rest is history. Reese's was born. That's real history. Let's look at some circles. This circle represents chocolate fans, this circle represents peanut butter fans, and you can expect the overlap would love Reese's. But what Reese's and Kingdom Hearts did was push their fan groups together, making 2 larger circles with a bigger overlap. So Reese's didn't just appeal to people that like both chocolate and peanut butter. It appealed to both people that like chocolate and people that like peanut butter. And that's subtle, but it's different. And Kingdom Hearts did the same thing with Disney and Final Fantasy. Before Kingdom Hearts, I'm not sure how many people fit in that little intersection. I don't know how many people loved Disney and loved Final Fantasy. Those things were so separate. And obviously, now they're not that separate because we have Kingdom Hearts. But my guess is that Kingdom Hearts pushed those fan bases together and created a much larger intersection that I fall in, and probably that you fall in as well. So the question you have to answer is, do you think that Kingdom Hearts succeeded because there were so many people that loved Disney and Final Fantasy? Or do you think that there are so many people that love Disney and Final Fantasy because Kingdom Hearts succeeded? It's like the chicken and the egg. And by that I mean it's obviously the second one. It's obviously the egg, and it's obvious that Kingdom Hearts is the reason that there's so many Final Fantasy and Disney lovers at the same time. Perfect metaphor. The way I see it, there are 3 possible outcomes with a crossover. The best option, the worst option, and the meh option. Kingdom Hearts represents the best option, introducing and integrating different fan bases. The main option is when one fan base will be interested, but the small crossover will be super excited. A good example of this is NBA Street 3. And this game may seem like a fever dream that's tucked away in the back of your mind, but remember when Mario, Peach, and Luigi were in an NBA Street game? Like, how did that happen? Now, people that were gonna play the NBA Street game were not deterred because Mario and the gang were there. But I don't think people that were playing Super Mario were jumping in to play NBA Street. That being said, the 17 plumber/basketball players out there, they were losing their minds. I think that this category of crossover is like the most common. It's pretty fun, and if you're like interested in both games, you'll be super excited, but it doesn't hurt anything to have them. Now, the worst option for a crossover is something that only appeals to people that already love both things. Now, making crossover like this is like getting a 0% on a true-false test. It's very rare, and it's also genuinely impressive the amount of bad intuition that is required. But it's still possible. Now, I'm going to give you an example of this, and I know as soon as I say it, some of you are going to be like, that's a great idea. But you and I both know you only feel that way ironically. I'm talking about Transformers / My Little Pony Friendship in Disguise. It's a little comic book crossover, and I assume some people must have heard about it, and their minds would have exploded with excitement. But I can't imagine that any of the Transformers fans or the bronies were chomping at the bit for this. Go through the Amazon reviews and found one kind of startling comment. This person gave the comic a 3-star review, but had literally no affiliation with either Transformers or My Little Pony. Just trying shit. Just buying random comics, consuming content with no idea about what it is or who's in the crossover. I mean, like, I applaud you. I envy you. So how did Kingdom Hearts manage to get into the top tier of crossovers and merge such distinct audiences? After thinking about it for a bit, I came up with 3 principles that a crossover could use to have the same kind of effect that Kingdom Hearts had. And after I'm done breaking those down, I'm going to use them to create my 3 personal perfect crossovers. The first of the 3 principles may sound a little bit contradictory. You want to have a passionate and indifferent audience. And while those things sound opposite, they are opposite, but I promise it makes sense. So you want both audiences to be very passionate about their portion of the crossover, but you want them to be at least indifferent towards the other portion of the crossover. Before Kingdom Hearts, the Final Fantasy and Disney audiences had no reason to hate each other. Probably just indifferent towards each other. Not to say that there was no Final Fantasy fan who didn't hate Disney or vice versa. I'm sure there was somebody who saw Tarzan as a father figure after their dad left the family to pursue a career in cosplaying Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Principle 2 is representation. Plenty of games have a little featurette of different IPs. A perfect hype example from my childhood is Soul Calibur. They always have a little featurette, they have like someone featured in their games, but from my childhood the most memorable one was the Star Wars one. Now I've seen some of the Star Wars movies, but I'm not like a huge Star Wars fan. I don't like know all the lore and stuff, whatever. Hate me if you want. Soul Calibur 4 though, it came out and it had Yoda and Darth Vader. Cool was the game. So dumb. Cool was the game. Played it a lot, I did. But I never actually ended up diving into Star Wars because of the game. And that's fine. Remember that these principles are about making the top tier legendary crossover. And if your goal is to just have a cool feature, I mean, there's no need to follow this principle. You don't need to have equal representation for everyone if you're just gonna have a small feature in the game. Kingdom Hearts does a pretty good job of balancing Disney and Final Fantasy, except Kingdom Hearts 3. Even though the worlds are Disney, the non-Disney characters are like 95% Final Fantasy with 5% Goofy feet. And the story is like 100% Final Fantasy. Super convoluted, melodramatic, no matter how dire the circumstances, there's always time for some like random, inconsequential shit. And listen, I can make fun of Kingdom Hearts all I want, because everybody knows that Kingdom Hearts fans and Kingdom Hearts haters oftentimes the same person. The third principle is authenticity. Certainly the most epic crossover games of all time are the Super Smash Bros. Games, just by sheer scale and persistence. And I love Super Smash Bros., but like, the game's not like authentic to its source materials, and it's not trying to be. Playing as Fox doesn't like authentically represent what it's like to play any of the Star Fox games. And the same as like playing as Pikachu doesn't make you want to catch them all. But Kingdom Hearts does authentically represent Disney and Final Fantasy. And by the time you finish Kingdom Hearts, you know, you get it. You understand what Disney brings to the table, and you also understand what Final Fantasy brings to the table. And while Kingdom Hearts is obviously its own series, someone could reasonably describe it as like a Disney game with Final Fantasy characters or a Final Fantasy game with Disney characters. And that's kind of what I mean by both sides being authentically represented. So you want a game whose audiences are passionate about their own side, indifferent towards the other, has equal representation in the game, and is authentic to the sources. Based on these principles, I'm going to come up with my own personal ultimate crossover proposals. To get myself into the right mindset, I went over several examples of great crossovers. I even ate examples of great crossovers, and I came up with 3 ideas that I would buy today, right now. First, give me Scooby-Doo Luigi's Mansion crossover. I mean, Scooby, the gang, Luigi, fighting ghosts with their wits in a vacuum. Take my money. We'll call this game Scoob-Luigi's Mansion. Second, I want to see The Witcher and Pokemon. And I know that sounds crazy, but Geralt is already fighting monsters. I mean, why not just make them pocket monsters? And, you know, he has powers to an extent. You know, he drinks potions and stuff. If he caught a Pokemon, he could get some kind of Pokemon-based power. I think it would be cool. Don't hate. It's a good idea. All I'm saying is picture this. Geralt slowly walking towards kind of an eerie lake. Boom, out comes Gyarados. Don't play with me. That's sick. We'll call it The Witcher 4 Wild Haunter. And finally, we'll finish with the most obvious one, you know, especially with the title of this video. How about we combine Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy? I know this sounds crazy, but let's put Final Fantasy back in Kingdom Hearts. You know what we can call the game? Kingdom Hearts 4. Alright, if you got any good ideas or, you know, bad ideas for a crossover, let me know in the comments. For me, Kingdom Hearts was probably the most impactful game of my childhood. I actually don't know whether I liked Final Fantasy first or Disney first, but I just know that I love them both now, probably due to Kingdom Hearts. And if you want to know another one of my favorite crossovers, it's between Mario and Paper. You guessed it, it's Paper Mario. And if you want to know what every game can learn from Paper Mario, check out this video here. My name is Terrence. I'm going to keep playing games till I play the perfect one. Peace. Lerv.